Hello and welcome to a very special Good Gad It's Gear Time. This is the Bug Out Bag, the Get Back Bag Special. So, first thing you need to do is you need to go down below, get the link that goes to the Amazon affiliate page for the Prepared Mind channel, open that up, right? And then click pause on the video during the intro so that when we get back, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about and step by step go through this with me to help build your plan. Alrighty then, let's get to it. Hit that link. All right, what I'm hoping you're going to be able to do is minimize me to the corner of your screen somewhere so that you can look at the items we're going to discuss and why they're so important to have in a bug out / get back bag. Okay, so it opens up and you're going to see a page at the top. It's going to have the Prepared Mind icon, little picture of me, looks kind of like this one right here, right? I wanted that there so you can see it. This is where you go. Scroll down a little bit and you're going to see clothing, 5-day bug out bag, 3-day bug out bag, cold weather items. Okay, go ahead and click on 3-day bug out bag. And the only difference between the 3-day and the 5-day is the amount of water you're going to want, the size of the bag you're going to need, and the amount of food you're going to bring. Otherwise, it's all the same. So we are going to start with the 3-day bug out bag and just go from there. Once again, hopefully you've got me in the corner of the screen. Hopefully you've got everything opened up to 3-day. But before we get into this, I want to talk about what a bug out bag is and what it isn't. What a get back bag is and what it isn't. A bug out bag is not a survival bag. It is not a woodcraft bag. It is not a combat bag. It is a bag designed to get you from where you're at to where you need to be, whether it's the fuck away or get all the way back, right? As in get from work to home or from a place you've traveled back home, right? There are no superfluous items in this bag. And again, I'm not going to tell you what you need for defense, whether you need to have a shotgun, a rifle, or a handgun. Your everyday carry, your shit it's the fan necessities are up to you to add to this. But this bag is designed to get you back. That is it. And additionally, it's designed to get you back quickly, as comfortably as possible, and with the least amount of difficulty. Okay, so I want to talk about each item and why it's in there, why I recommend it. And again, before we start, I am a Marine, a United States Marine. I am not a combat expert, and this video is not about combat. I am not a woodcraft expert, regardless of how many days and nights I've frozen my ass off on mountains, in valleys, by rivers, out in the desert. It doesn't matter. You're the expert in your world. I just have recommendations based on my experiences. Okay, and if anyone wants to doubt or question me, then doubt and question and go somewhere else. If you want the information here, I'm happy to give it. I'm glad you guys support me. And this is what I consider to be the essentials for bugging out, the essentials for getting back. And again, before you say, do I need a 3 or a 5-day? How far do you think you're going to have to go at the max? Because if you plan for the max, you're going to have extra water, you're going to have extra food. You may leave it behind, you may trade it away. You may not need it at all. If you know you need to go 30 miles and you can do 10 miles a day easily, then you need a 3-day bag. If you can do 20 miles a day and you need to go 30 miles, that's a day and a half. Figure out what it is you're planning for. If you have to go 50 miles to bug out, right? To walk to your bug out bunker, your shit it's the fan location. If you have to go 50 miles, and that's 5 days for you. You're going to pace yourself 10 miles a day, right? You're going to need a 5-day bag. That is where you knowing what you need comes in handy. Additionally, I was talking about an East Coast bag, West Coast, North, South, etc. We're doing days only, and you can add or subtract materials based on what it is you need. Again, this is a general idea. You can add more if needed and subtract if you don't need the items. This way you kind of build your own bag. Whether it's get back or bug out, you build your own bag, and you build it for you custom. So first I want to start with the bag itself. The reason I chose the bag, and we're going to start at the lower right. In all of the pictures of all the items I've got there, the lower right, I've got a backpack. Okay, this is a 50L, 50-liter backpack. That's the size. For the 5-day, I recommend a 60 because you're going to need to carry more food. Okay, but you can buy the 60 up front because you may want to put more items in there. The reason I chose these bags, though, is because they are olive drab green, but you can select other colors. They have the Male attachments, that is the webbing tied to it, so you can attach more to the outside, whether it's additional bags, a sleeping bag, right? Whether it's additional water, whether it's additional pouches. It is very, shall we say, flexible. You can modify and add or subtract things to the outside of the bag itself. Additionally, the pack is designed to be worn comfortably. This is not a school backpack. This is not going to slide all over your back and give you friction burns and rough spots. It has a waist belt to secure it at your waist. It's got a chest strap to pull it around and hold it steady, right? You don't want the bag jiggling and wiggling and beating the hell out of you and being uncomfortable. You want it to be fixed to your body. The less rubbing you have, the less chafing you have. The less rubbing you have, the less energy you're going to consume, right, in carrying and moving with it. Additionally, if you have to run, and there's a hell of a good chance, right, you're bugging out or getting back, shit has hit the fan, maybe, it's coming, light or heavy, you're going to have to run. And if you're running and you're just huffing and puffing, that bag is going to be swinging all over unless it is secured to you at the waist and at the chest. Very important to have a good bag. This is not your kid's high school backpack, right? And if you look at other bug out bags that are designed and put on the internet, on Amazon, you're going to find very few bags with attention to this detail alone. So you can buy pre-made bags, but they're not going to have what this one has. And if they even come close, they're going to cost more. So that's why we're doing a custom bag. It's for bugging out, not for survival. It's for emergency preparedness, yes, but it's designed to get you somewhere. All right, so item number 2 to the left of the backpack are those additional bags that you can attach to the outside. If you want to carry more food, more water, more items, if you want to carry a bag for 2 of you, right, 1 bag for 2 people, you may need some additional material and some storage for it. These bags are big, they're heavy duty, and they're not overly expensive. Now, once again, this is a bug out bag or a get back bag. This bag is not intended to last a lifetime. This is not, I'm going to climb Mount Everest quality. This is designed to get you there. Okay, and that's what all of these items are about, is getting you somewhere. It's not about living off of the grid. It's not about wilderness survival. It's about 3 days or 4 days or 5 days or a day and a half, whatever it takes you. Okay, so the next item are Male clips. And it's a container of 10 of them, right? And you can hook things, you can hook these to the bag and then attach things to that, right? And again, the more stuff you have swinging, and if it's clunking around, number 1, it's weight. Number 2, it takes more energy because it's swinging. It's going to affect your balance and the way you're walking. So you want to make sure things are secured or fastened to the outside securely, and you want to carry as little as possible. The reason you want that is because weight will slow you down. Weight will tire you out. The more you have in weight, the more tired, the more calories you're going to expend getting there, right? And again, if you're bugging out, there's a reason you need to get there quickly, right? You don't want to kill yourself but you want to get there quickly with the least physical damage or injury, the most energy consumed or reserved, and also you want to carry enough to consume, right, to keep you energized, because you could have a 2, 3, 4, 5-day trip. Okay, the next item, it's a cardboard box. Inside that box are meals ready to eat, MREs. That is what we ate in the military. It is designed not for nutrition. It is not going to make you into a bodybuilding superstar. It has calories, it has flavor, and it will sustain you. That is the whole point of this. The other point of this is they're ready to eat. You do not have to cook. You don't have to make a fire. You don't have to have camping gear. Once again, you need to get from here to there. That is it. Right? This is no frills, get across the land. You want as much energy in the smallest space. Right? You don't want to carry bulk, right? You're not going to carry a bag of popcorn that's pre-popped. You know, it's just bulk. You don't need it. So MREs. You're trying to get from here to there. It's an emergency. You're bugging out or you're getting back. 2 of those a day, right, will sustain you. If you want to pack 3, do it. Right? But I've got another food item that we've attached to this. When you're bugging out, you don't have time to sit down, or you may not want to take the time to sit down to cook and to clean and to eat all kinds of stuff and make a big presentation out of it, right? You want to get there and get back. You can eat this food cold. It tastes just fine. I've done it many, many times, right? So this case for $74 on sale here, for one person, if you're going 3 days, and that's 2 of those a day, right? That's enough for 2 people, right? It's enough for 2 people for 3 days. So I would say if it's just one of you, put 6 of those in the bag, right? And you've got another 6 to eat or to store as a prepper item. But you can eat some of them and see what it tastes like. It's not going to hurt anything. Just make sure you have enough to put in the bag. If you've got a 5-day trip, 2 of those per day, right? What have you got there? You've got 2 extra. Once again, eat them, see what they're like, understand them. If you're a big guy like me, I weigh 265 pounds. If you're a big guy like me and you know you're going to need more calories, you are going to have to pack more, which means you're going to have to carry more weight. It takes more energy to carry weight, etc., yada, yada, yada. So the food is critical. If you want it to be warm, put it in your pockets. Put it against your skin. It'll cool your skin a little bit, but, you know, you need to, right, decide what works for you. If you want hot food, get hot food. If you want to get down the road, get down the road. You can eat it cold. Moving on, I've included a life straw in the recommendation. The reason that is there is if you have to go 2, 3, 4, 5 days, there's a good chance you're going to pass streams, ponds, maybe a river, someone's swimming pool. Who knows? If you know that there are water sources between where you're at and where you're going to be, you don't have to carry as much water with you. Water is probably the single heaviest item that you can carry. Right? The next one would be food, but the single heaviest item you can carry is water. So you want to have enough to make it. Again, knowing the distance is critical. If you got to go 20 miles, that's a day or 2, depending on your health, the speed, the terrain, etc. You're going to want to carry, right, enough water to make it, and we'll get to that in a second. The life straw, if you know you've got water, you're good. If you don't know you have water, you should carry a life straw in case you come across it, and carry additional water besides. So the life straw, I've tested them, and in fact I did a video on testing them. I think I used the Sawyer brand, but they're all the same principle and concept. I drank out of a fetid, still, end of summer cow pond that animals used as a water source, right? Mosquitoes, muddy yuck. And I drank through that, not a health question one, not an upset stomach, no gas, no belching, nothing. Very, very good at what they do, these life straws. Now moving on to water. If you go to the next level up, right above the backpack is a green bladder. It's called a Camelback. And attached to that is a straw on the end of it, and it's got a squeeze opening so it just doesn't dribble water everywhere. Having these is marvelous. This one can be opened up. It can be cleaned on the inside. It can be used for multiple uses. But if you're going to go 3 days with a 3-day bag, I recommend 2 of these. If you're going to go 5 days, I recommend having 3 or maybe 4. And again, water is heavy. Now, I will not recommend pre-filling these things and then having your bag all stuck together. I would recommend, because each of these is 3 liters, which is essentially 3 quarts, right? I would recommend having gallons of, plastic jugs of spring water in the trunk of your car or in the house next to the bug out bag, and filling these at the time you need to fill them, and then putting them in the bag. Okay, the reason for that is so that the water is safe, right? And these bags are BPA free, bisphenol A, which is it's a chemical that's not good for you. They're military approved, or they meet military guidelines. They're very tough. And then the bag itself, the backpack, has a pouch to put this in, pull the straw through, and you can bring it over your shoulder so that you can do what? While walking, drink the water. Okay, you don't have to stop and unzip and pull shit out every 5 minutes just to get a sip of water. Water conservation, know your bag, know what you need, know how far you're going, and understand. You can go 2 days, you can go 3 days without water, but the longer you go without it, you start suffering from a lot of problems. Water is critical to have. If you say, I have to go 40 miles and I think I need 4 of these 100 or 3-liter bags, if you think you need that and you're getting there much quicker and you don't want to carry the weight, you can just pull them out and leave them behind. The bag is designed to get you there, not to weigh you down. The bag is designed to get you back home, not becoming an impediment or to give you trouble. Right? Okay, moving along to the next item. We've got their food cakes, to use that term. They are energy bars. This one little bag for $9 has 3,600 calories. So I recommend an MRE in the morning and an MRE at night. And if you need to eat something during the day just to keep your energy up, eat some of these bars. These are cinnamon flavored ones. So they have some flavor. They're not delicious. They're not gourmet, but they're loaded with calories, energy. And that's what you want, because you're only trying to get from here to there as quickly as possible. So these energy bars, these food bars, are lightweight and energy packed. I recommend them, not them alone, even though you could go with just them, but I recommend the MREs because there are other things in there. Included in the MREs are electrolytes or salts. It's got a drink package. It's got a number of things in there besides just some calories and food and some meat. And that's another thing. Men like meat, people like meat, and MREs have some meat in them. But these other bars, they are useful and they're energy packed. Okay, moving to the next item. First aid kit. The one I selected is small. You are not Nurse Nightingale. You are not pick a doctor, right? You're not going to do surgery. The intent behind it is if you get a superficial wound, to clean it. If you get a more serious wound, you can patch yourself up, right? You can at least close the wound, clean the wound, and get down the road to where you need to be, where you can get proper medical attention. Bullet holes suck, right? Once again, I've been shot. Doesn't feel very nice, right? It really messes you up. But just, we're not here for that. We're bugging out and we're getting back. If you get shot, you do your very best and get the fuck out, right? It is shit hitting the fan. You're in trouble, right? But once again, a first aid kit, basic first aid to help yourself, to help others, etc. It's not designed to be a year's worth of supplies. It's just designed for the 3 to 5 days to get you there. Small, compact, inexpensive. Moving along, we've got a survival kit. It's an emergency survival kit. 12-in-1 outdoor blah, blah, blah. What it has in it flashlight, knife, whistle, a pen, which can also be used as a stabbing device, etc. It's got a fire striker in it. Once again, I don't think starting a fire is key, but if you have to, it's good to have, right? There are other items in this emergency kit. There's a little Mylar blanket. You could use that. I don't recommend it as a blanket because they're just not effective, but it could be used for signaling. It can be used as an emergency blanket, as a means of last resort. But this is what the kit is for. It's to get you there. 3 days, 5 days. The knife isn't the greatest knife. The cost of this kit isn't high. It's designed to be inexpensive and get you there. If you want to bring your own flashlight, an additional flashlight, bring it. If light is important to you, if you want to walk at night, or that's part of your plan is to walk at night. Again, people will see you way further away than what you can hope to see them with a flashlight. But still, flashlight's good. Having a flashlight, if you want your own, bring one. If you want your own knife, your own whatever master knife you have for your desire, say, for use as a tool, for protection, but this kit is designed to give you the basics to get you there. You're going to need to cut something, it's got a knife. You're going to need to start a fire for whatever reason, it's got that in it. If you want your own fire kit, get a fire kit. In fact, go to the cold weather. I've got fire kits there in the bug out bag weather kit. It's got a compass. It's not a great compass. It's not designed to last a lifetime. You don't want to pass it down to your kids. That's not what the intent is for, right? The intent is to give you some general direction if you have to go cross country, right? And again, if you need a compass or want a compass that's really good, get one. If that's part of your system, add it to this. But this is the basics, and it's only intended to and needed to last a few days to get you there. Moving on to the next item is one of the items that I consider to be discretionary. It's a radio. Hand crank, as in hand charge and wind up radio, AM, FM, weather. It's to get basic news. If you have to bug out on foot, if you've got to get back on foot, you might want to get some broadcasts. It also has a flashlight, so you can charge. It's another flashlight. It's probably not the best quality, not the brightest, not the best, but it only has to last a few days. The radio only has to last a few days. You're only going to probably get to use it a few times. But you crank it up, you listen to the radio, you get the news and information that you need that's pertinent to your bug out or get back situation. You don't have to have it, but if you want it, this is the one I recommend. There's not a really great one available. They're all kind of shitty. They're all kind of made in China, and it's just the way it goes. I have several of them already. The next item, if you go above the bag, the water bladder, there is a solar panel. It's a tri-fold solar panel. It is the most efficient one I could find. It's $54 or $55. If you don't want it or don't need it, don't buy it. It is compact, it's flat, and it has 2 charging ports. So you got your USB 1 and 2, so you can charge 2 items. If you have a phone, let's just say phones are still working, cell towers are up, your phone can go dead very quickly. Right? So, or your phone may already be dead. There may be 2 of you or 3 of you bugging out together or getting back together. Having this will allow you to charge your items and do a good job. It's good quality for what it is. But you don't have to have it. Okay, again, the bag is for you, and you can look and see what you need and what you don't need. And what I'm doing is giving you the thinking or the reasoning behind these choices. I've listed a poncho here as the next item. It's camouflage. The reason I list that is if there's a possibility of rain, you're going to want to keep the rain off you. You can't just stop, right? You've got a limited amount of time and a limited amount of food and a limited amount of resources to get back. You don't want to screw around. So if you have to go during the day and it's raining, you're going to stay drier. And remember or understand that the wetter your clothes are, even if it's warm rain, it can pull BTUs, heat, out of you. That can exhaust you. It can make you tired. It can make you uncomfortable. It can distract you. Right? It can make you sick in just a matter of a couple of days as well. So the poncho is there for that. It's also camouflage. In the event you need to travel and maintain some sort of camouflage or ability to hide or not be easily seen, it is useful that way. And the third reason I have this is you're talking about bugging out 3 to 5 days. Even if it's just 2 days, that means you've got one overnight. And it doesn't seem to me to matter where you're at on the planet, even in the desert. In the middle of the night, it gets chilly. In the early morning, the dew will fall. It makes you cold, it makes you wet, it makes you uncomfortable. It steals energy from you, and energy is calories, is BTU, and you only have so much food. And you would rather use that energy that you have to walk to where you're going. Again, getting back, bugging out. You want to get there. So the drier you are in the morning, the warmer you are in the morning. If you're just going to sleep under it, just keeping yourself a little bit warmer, a little bit drier makes a difference. So the poncho, I had one when I was a jarhead. You have a poncho. You get one assigned to you. You get one issued to you as a Marine. Right? It doesn't get used all the time, but when you need it, it is there. The next item I have is Survive Now, Thrive Later by Bob Mayer. It is a small, inexpensive book on survival. You hope that you can just walk there in 3 or 4 days. You hope that you don't have to play fucky fuck too much. You hope that you don't have to light fires. You hope that you don't have to scrounge for water. The book is a reference item. Read it before you put it in the bag so that when you go to bug out or get back, the book, you will know where to find the items that are most useful to you. You're just at least familiarized with the table of contents. It is a very handy book. It's only $10, and I have one just like it that I've had since I was a kid. It tells you all kinds of things, useful things, and at the very least, put it up here, confidence. You have confidence that you have the ability, you have some reference material while you're bugging out to help you get there. The next item is a small, compact, lightweight, they're called tube tent, but it's basically a triangle. If you think, right, it's advisable for you to have a tent to be in, I recommend this. To keep more heat against you, to get you out of the wind and other elements, meaning rain or moisture. Maybe the poncho's enough for you, but maybe you want a little compact, reusable tent that is not going to tear, right, if a pine needle hits it. So this isn't heavy duty. It's not super expensive. It's to get the job done, to get you out of the weather. And if you live in an area that could have some rain and snow, right, inclement weather or a lot of wind, this could be an item you say, I need to have in my bug out bag. There's a lot of them out there to choose from. And in the cold weather section, I have a tent that is still very light, but it is designed to deal with some more severe elements. Once again, the idea is not to survive long term, but to get back. So this tent is what I would say highly advisable, but not completely necessary. The next item I'm going to say is necessary to have. When you are exerting a lot of energy, when you're going from here to there, like bugging out or getting back, right? You're putting out a lot of body heat. You're going to need rest also. You still need rest. You need to stop, drink water, eat food, and get your rest. Whether it's 4 hours and then hike for a while and then another 4 hours of rest, you're going to need rest. At night, it gets cold. Once again, your body's going to try and put out as much heat as it can, right, to keep you warm. And that's calories, which is energy, which is the speed it takes for you to get from here to there, right? I've been on a few forced marches, and your calories is it, your energy is it, and your heat is it. When I was a kid, right, when I was a young man, a young Marine, sleeping on the ground sucked. You got fucking cold, right? Sleeping under a poncho wasn't the greatest thing on earth. But your hands, your face, your neck, your head, and your feet get extremely cold. These socks I highly recommend so that when you stop, you can take the socks off of your feet, because your feet is what you walk on the whole way. You want to take care of your feet Take the socks on you have, take them off, and let them air out and dry out. Put on these warm socks, either one pair or two, depending on the temperature outside, to keep your feet warmer. They still might get uncomfortably cold, but to keep them warmer. If you're in the tent, right, you don't have to worry about putting shoes back on. If you believe if there is a risk of danger, you're going to need to sleep with your boots or shoes on anyways. Because if something bad happens, you're going to need to move around and have mobility for either escape or self-defense. And you don't want to be running around barefooted or just in socks. Still, I recommend the socks to keep the heat in your feet. Without that, you lose a lot of energy in your extremities, hands, feet, and head. The next item I have, if we go over to the right, is a set of gloves. Once again, these are cold weather gloves. And you're like, but I live in the South. Right. If your hands get chilly, you put them on. If they aren't needed, you don't bother with them. They are black, the gloves. So they give you some concealment, some camouflage at night or during the day, rather than, I've got some white skin. I stand out pretty brightly. I recommend gloves, but they're mostly for the purpose of getting back or bugging out overnight, staying warm. You're going to have to understand and regulate your own heat, right? Unzip your shirt or your coat or jacket at night if you're putting off too much heat. As soon as you stop, you are going to have to understand you're going to get cold quickly at night, even in the summer. Spring and fall, certainly. Winter, no doubt. But managing your core body temperature is going to be critical. I recommend practicing if you can. If not, you're going to have to learn on the fly. Gloves, right? I just highly recommend them for protecting your hands from damage, from cold, etc. The next thing I've got is the head covering. Again, at night, heat, camouflage, right? It's black. You can blend in a little easier, especially at night. You don't stick out. But it'll keep your face warm, your ears warm, your neck and your head. Once again, extremities, hands, feet, head. Keep them warm at night. Even if you're under the poncho, you still may need extra body heat conservation. Right? You might think, "Whoa, I was toasty all night." Good. As long as you're not sweating, you don't want to sweat out all your water, and you don't want to make yourself wet and cold from sweating. But you want to stay warm enough that you're not exerting a lot of energy just to get by. The next item is Gorilla Tape. That's right, duct tape. It's a 30-foot roll. It is 1 inch wide. It's a small roll of tape. I'm partial to Gorilla Tape. It's just who I am. In fact, I keep a roll of it right in my office. You never know when you're going to need frickin' duct tape. The reason I've included in this, number one, if you get a cut, you can tape, right? You can clean it, put gauze on it, and tape it up. It's, you can use the cute little Band-Aids that come in the kit, but you may need to tape it up. You can tape blisters on your feet. When your shoe or your boot rubs against your skin and your foot wiggles, maybe your footwear isn't perfect or ideal, you can get blisters. Taping your skin together, right? Literally putting the tape on your skin. You can buy moleskins if you want and get fancy, or you can just put duct tape on it so that the sock and the shoe or the boot rubs against the duct tape instead of your skin. Save yourself a lot of pain. Once again, you're trying to get there or get back. You don't need to be limping along with a blister that hurts, that slows you down, that gives you a limp, that makes you look weak. Right? And a weak person is what? An easier target than someone who looks like they've got their shit together. Okay, so the tape, you can tape things to your backpack. You can make repairs to your equipment. Tape. Not expensive, $3. Worth having, you bet. And if it saves your life, you're going to praise it forever. The next item, paracord. You can buy whatever size you want. I recommend, I think the 50 or the 100-foot thing is $10. It's OD green. You can get different colors. But if you need to tie things up, if you need to make something between tape and paracord, you've got it covered. Okay, it's just an essential to have, and it's lightweight. It's an essential and it's a lightweight, and if you need it, great. If not, fine, you didn't need it. The last item I've included is a folding saw. Again, if you don't think you're going to need to make a fire, you're not going to have to stay warm from a fire, right? You don't need it. If you've got one day to go, you don't need it. What it's there for is if you think you're going to build a fire to stay warm, for security, for psychological comfort, you're going to want a saw. Again, this is a cheap saw. It's $6. It is not designed to cut a year's worth of firewood. It is designed to cut some branches off of a tree or to cut up a bush, right? Again, starting a fire is really difficult in the woods. You need dry tinder, you need dry tinder, and you need dry tinder, right? You have to have very dry, fine material to start a fire. And once you get it lit, whether you use a fire striker, matches, a magnifying glass, if you like that technique, which has to be done during the day, by the way. If you want to use steel wool and a 9-volt battery, I haven't gone over that technique. There's lots of different ways to start a fire. Once you have it started, keeping it going is not as easy as it sounds. You need to have dry kindling, and then you need to have small dry sticks, more small dry sticks, some little bit larger sticks, and you need to build your fire up. You're not going to start with a big giant freaking log and set it on fire and have it burn. This isn't the movies. It's not how that works. Building a fire is a process of gathering tinder, kindling, small sticks, large sticks, and having them ready. And then you're going to be surprised at how quickly you'll burn through this material. So the saw is there so that you can have a good supply of larger material so that once you've built a fire, it can be sustained. And the fire can be life-sustaining. If, for whatever reason, you have to bug out and it's colder than you thought, or you're in an area you didn't think you needed to be, now you have the ability to start a fire, right? So I would also recommend, if you think you're going to need a fire, have a plastic bag full of kindling. Have a fire starting kit. And that is where we get to the cold weather items for the bug out bag. I have some very cold weather gloves, hand warmers, matches. I call them hurricane matches. They'll light up and strike and burn underwater even. There's other fire tinder kits that you can buy, or you can make your own. Fire is one of those things. Will you need it or not? Once again, you're not trying to survive in the wilderness. You're trying to get from here to there quickly. And that is the bug out bag. That's the one that I've designed. It's to get you there and get you back. It's no frills. It's designed to give you the food and the water to get you there. It's designed to be as light as possible and to make you as comfortable as possible in the given circumstance. Once again, this isn't cushy camping, and I've done cushy camping. This isn't backpacking for the sake of backpacking. It's not an overnighter. It's a possible 3 or 4 or 5 day trek of terror and questionability, right? Questionability meaning, what is going on in the world? We don't know. Again, that's maybe why the radio works for you. Anyways, this is the idea. It's the plan. Now, again, if you want to add other things to it, your everyday carry weapon, right? If you want to add a jacket in there, have a jacket. You don't have to wear it, but have it be as possible as you can, as light as possible, right? Because if you need a big Arctic jacket, that's another story. If you're up north, you need to understand the specifics for your area. But this bug out kit is the basics. And then you can search around Amazon and get the best price on what you need to get there. But I will be consistent in recommending the course of action for water. Have those bladders and as many as you think you're going to need, and have the jugs available. If you're bugging out, right? If it's in your house, have the jugs next to your bag. If you're keeping the bag in your car, have it in the car. Have the jugs there and fill that water as you're ready to go. And if you've got extra water, drink it or carry it with you as long as you can. MREs, definitely. If you're a larger person, pack more. Have those extra food bars. But try and also keep everything as light as possible. because that weight will slow you down, right? It'll consume more of the energy that you need to get there. And the last thing, and I can't reiterate this enough, is understand your limits, right? As Dirty Harry said, right? A man's got to know his limits. You need to know your limits. So if your limit is 10 miles a day and you think you're going to go 30 or 40 miles, don't push yourself beyond that 10 miles if that's what you know your limit is. Be sure and give yourself enough rest, enough comfortable rest as you can. That's why the tent and the cold weather items like the socks, even in a regular bag. You know, you need to be as rested, as nourished, as hydrated, and as comfortable as possible. And because you want to get there or get back as soon as you can. Once again, I want to thank you for supporting the channel. The Prepared Mind is about gear. It's about thinking and understanding. Right? There's a lot of people out there that are tough as nails, mean as a snake, but they might be dumb as a box of rocks. And that's going to do nothing but get them in trouble. So it's the prepared mind, right, that chance favors. Prepare your mind so that everything else that you get by and need becomes useful to you and becomes life-saving, right? Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi. Godspeed to you all.